The hearing will now come to order. Welcome, Chairman Powell, for your first appearance before this committee as Chairman of the Federal Reserve Board of Governors.
Thank you, Senator. So, as you mentioned, there are a couple places where it looks like there may be additional slack in the labor force, and the biggest of those is that prime age participation by prime age workers is a full percentage point below where it was before the crisis. We don't see any strong evidence yet of a decisive move up in wages. We see wages by a couple of measures trending up a little bit, but most of them continuing to grow at about 2.5%. So nothing in that suggests to me that that wage inflation is at a point of acceleration, and so I would expect that some continued strengthening in the labor market can take place without causing inflation.
People seem to be doing well. The tax cuts come in, which is probably going to help. We see that it's going to help at least confidence and everything in the economy. What do you see there?
It's interesting. Unemployment has declined from 10% at the worst part of the crisis, and actually well after the crisis, down to 4.1% now. And wages have only really gradually started to track up. The increases are now up at about 2.5% if you blend the various measures we look at. We look at a bunch of them. And I'll be honest, I would have thought that you'd see more wage increases by this point, and I do expect that we will see more wage increases. We've got an economy with strong momentum. We've got strong job creation as a result of it. We've got low unemployment, and I do think you will begin to see wages coming up. But we've been feeling that way, and that's kind of what we're waiting to see. Hope we see it soon. Expect to see it.
How much did the tax bill, that was put in place, how much of that is affecting your desire to or your likelihood of raising rates over this year?
I wouldn't single it out, Senator. I would say.
No, I'm not trying to single it out, but just out of curiosity, it is in fact something that is going to be stimulative. So, how much of a factor is it in looking at raising rates?
You know, fiscal policy is one of many factors. We're looking, as you know, we're looking at stable prices, maximum employment. That's what we're looking at, and everything that happens in the economy and financial conditions and fiscal policy affects that. We can't really isolate one thing, you know, like fiscal policy. But I think, you know, I would expect that fiscal policy this year is going to add meaningfully to demand, and that's going to put upward pressure on inflation and downward pressure on unemployment. Hard to quantify, but it wouldn't be the main factor. I mean, the economy's strong, and it's even stronger now.
Yeah. How much of a factor is it in your growth projections, the passage of the tax legislation?
As I mentioned, I think it will add meaningfully to growth for at least the next couple of years. The real question is, how much will it add to, and the amount of that is subject to very different estimates by different approaches. But I guess the bigger question is how much will it add to longer run growth? And there are a couple of channels through which that might happen. Higher investment should lead to higher productivity, which would raise potential growth. Lower tax rates on individuals should increase labor supply. These are highly uncertain, but we hope the effects are meaningful there as well. Economic outlook, some of the headwinds the U.S. economy faced in previous years have turned into tailwinds. In particular, fiscal policy has become more stimulative, and foreign demand for U.S. exports is on a firmer trajectory.